almost 2 minutes now, so we'll take a look at where the Qs and SPY finished up, and we'll go over today's plays. Let's go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. This is Ifan from the Strategic Day Trader, and this is your market wrap for August 3rd, 2022. Qs up 2.7%, SPY up 1.5%. Came into today still expecting a little bit of a pullback here. Thought we'd get a more meaningful one, but acknowledging that we've been overall bullish, right? I was saying, you know, the pullback may be hours, it may be days. We didn't even get that. So it's definitely looking for more here. What I did outline yesterday was that if we do break out instead off the hourly, that'll be tough, right? That'll be tough. I won't have a strong bullish bias off of this breakout, though it is a bullish pattern, just because we are into resistance to the left and we are extended. So the fact that we broke out and then had a nice trend day today definitely wasn't what I expected. Okay. Now we've been bullish on the market, so in some way, that is in line, but I didn't think that we were going to be still this bullish up until this point. Now, that's what happened today. What does that mean going into the rest of the week? All right, so we've gotten a little bit of extension here as we've run into this resistance. Okay, neutral for me till we deal with this hourly extension. Could we do it again in another sloppy way, base sideways until the 20 MA catches up, set up another breakout, run up another 2-3%? I mean, yeah, definitely could. But given where we are now, right, on the daily here and extension on the hourly, just going to be neutral for tomorrow. We'll see. I mean, I think if we gap up tomorrow, I'll be more short-term bearish just for the open. See what kind of follow through we get. And then if we gap down, probably going to be gapping down into support. So I would expect us to bounce a little bit, but that may be the start of the pullback. So we'll kind of have to wait and see it. So, neutral here for me either way. Thinking if we gap down, probably get picked back up. If we gap up, probably come in. I wouldn't be surprised if we just put in an inside day. Okay. So now that we've moved up as much as we have, just going to keep the bias here for the short-term neutral, but overall remaining bullish, okay, as we've transitioned on the daily. All right, let's get into the plays from today. First play for me was the CYH. I like this gap a lot, reversing that attempt to break down. Has some decent room up above, all right, and so the initial play here was just a little base breakout here right over these two bars. So that was it on the CYH. Was hoping we get another bar here. I think I even got it a little bit late because it happened pretty quick. I was hoping to see that one more bar, give us maybe a 3-bar base, stop underneath there. So that was okay. Target one. Did have to live through this pullback, which wasn't fun at all. Was a little bit sloppy there initially. And then eventually got going here, did trail off the hourly at the end. So I did think this had more potential than that. I think it maxed out around like a little shy of 2 Rs on this. So the CYH, despite all of, all that kind of roller coaster action there, because this pullback, I thought, well, breaking the uptrend, but if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, leave the stop in. And then once we pivoted, I thought, okay, that shouldn't get any, too much more sloppy than that. And then we had this other little lower high, and it looked like it was going to fail from there. So yeah, wasn't easy. It eventually cleaned itself up and gave a good entry. So I think this would have been okay to do an ad, but all of that back and forth kind of wore me out a little bit on the CYH. So I did not do the ad on that break. I think the 15-minute, 15-minute was pretty nice. So that was pretty good. So probably could have added there. And then also the next play was the KN. KN, I really, really like this gap. I really like this gap. Maybe gapping a little bit too far. Played this as a short. I think I missed a little bit of an opportunity here because it did set up a really tight sell setup here. And I already had this called in the uh, in the box with numbers for to play underneath here, but then it set up the sell setup. This should have been the way it was played, and I instead of taking those numbers down and just playing the sell setup or trying to get the numbers in, I was like, well, it's going to trigger really quick, and I'll just stick with this because I like the gap a lot. Hopefully, it goes far enough to make up for this really big stop. And then I really didn't like the way it triggered. See that red bar, red bar, red bar, red bar, and then triggered. That's not how. That's telling you that this should have been the entry because there's the follow through. I mean, what's happening here, right? Why is this turning into a bottoming tail after breaking the lows, right? It's because people who did play the sell setup, they're coming into target, right? I don't know what the stop was, size of the stop, 7-8 cents. And so when you're getting to 70, that's already 2 R's. So, I mean, so this, I mean, we did get some follow through eventually, but it's because of the way that I played it that kept us from being able to get decent targets on this. So, did not do a good job on this. I think this adjustment should have been made, but because, then I got to retype in the numbers, and everything. I should have just done it anyway, but I thought, well, if it breaks down, that'll be fine. It looks good enough. It was only up about an R when it was here or so. It ended up failing. The KN ended up going up and then rallying all the way back up. So, I didn't know at the time, but that decision to stick with this kind of bigger stop was the difference between a winning play and a losing play. So, yeah, sometimes I think that's the trickier part of trying to call plays so that people can follow along. Is that, I can make the decision, okay, really quick, I'm going to play this, cancel the other order, and I'm in, right? But in order to put the numbers in before it triggers and have people be able to also play it, which is the intention of calling these plays, I guess, adds an additional element that sometimes kind of complicates things. So anyway, this issue doesn't happen too much. But just something I'll kind of keep in mind. I think, it's a bummer difference between this play working and not working. So, that was the KN. And I think part of it too, as we saw, a lot of things got bought, because the market was bullish today. So, I mean, SWX, really nice gap. You can see it in the morning, had a pretty strong rally there. Match got bought. Match recovered, which was a pretty good gap as well, I thought. MTCH gapping underneath all of that. That's a pretty good gap. So we saw a lot of gaps get bought. So maybe in a more neutral or bearish day, this KN, the decision to not play the tighter entry wouldn't have been, such a big difference. But in today's case, it was. So that was that. We saw a lot of things, gap downs that got bought. I mean, even the AMD, which wasn't a good gap down. This isn't a gap down that I would look to short really because it's been so bullish. It's not really clearing that much. Even that got bought too. So a lot of gap downs kind of recovered. So it's not too big a deal. All right. So, neutral for tomorrow. We'll see what the market wants to do, but longer term, staying bullish. All right. And then the focus, of course, will be earnings as we got plenty more coming up. Like I said, this should be earnings peak now. So lots and lots of gaps, lots to look at in the morning. Okay. So really important to stay focused. All right. All right, guys, we will be back at it tomorrow and I will talk to you then. Have a good evening.